I'm Paul Sprizzi. I'm the director of programming of the festival, and I'm here with Frederick Dodd, the director of Ava's Dating a Senior. We're going to talk a little bit about making this film. I guess, how did you first get the idea to make this?
I teach in a high school. I teach middle school and high school, but much more in the high school. And a lot of the kids that I had in high school in ninth grade are kids that I had all through middle school. So they're kids really kind of who grew up with me as their teacher in middle school and then in high school. And one of them in particular, so Ava was going through kind of in real time this kind of thing with this senior guy, and she was talking about it. She would talk about it, a lot. And since they were always talking about it, I asked them. I mean, it's the process of the movie is it's a longer story because it took a couple years to figure out that you could get these really natural performances if you shot with phones and had a phone per character or per person in the room. So there's always 4 or 5 phones rolling at once, and there's no takes. So it's just one long, 45-minute take. And then the time really goes into the editing, which is editing that down to like 3 minutes and kind of creating a narrative in there. And so they would just talk and talk and talk, and I was aware that I wanted this to be kind of a movie, and so I kept, sometimes I would say, hey, say something like this, or Ava, respond something like this. So it started taking on these kind of fictional qualities, even though it was kind of rooted in this real life thing. And so I had this one scene and I started cutting it up, and I was like, wow, this is really entertaining. I could watch a lot of this. And then once I had that scene, during that scene, Silas was there. Silas is a kid I'm very close to. He's been taking like film production classes and stuff since middle school with me, and done a lot of like silly shorts. And he was just a kid I grew very close to, him and many others. But he was always, performance-wise, he was always kind of, I always thought he was pretty awesome. And so when I started just watching his take of him listening, it kind of felt like he was jealous. And so at first I just had the scene, but then when I saw him kind of jealous, and I edit with my wife, who also produced the movie, and we were watching the rushes and we were thinking, oh, he looks jealous. Maybe that's the focus of the movie. And that made me then make the scene with the boys. That was the second scene I did. And I just threw Silas in there. And Silas is really acting. He's the one that's really acting in the movie and kind of making it fictional and getting this focus. I thought sticking on Ava would be kind of inappropriate, considering it was very close to home.
Tell us what you're going to do next.
So I'm working on a feature that's a lot like Ava. It actually incorporates scenes from Ava's Dating a Senior in it. Some are re-edited and others are scenes I didn't use from that. But it's much bigger. It's called Teenage Emotions, and it's just all teenagers, all different types of teenagers. You're basically, for an hour and 15 minutes, you're just a fly kind of buzzing around high school. And it's a lot visually. Formally, it's very similar. It's a lot of close-ups, almost claustrophobic, nauseating close-ups of just kids and braces and pimples and frustrations and anxieties and laughs and kids crying and breakups and a lot of like relationships and sex and judging each other physically, mentally, emotionally. And it's I guess some people might watch it and go like, wow, that's horrible, kids are horrible, or kids these days. Or I don't see much difference from, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Um, cool. Well, that's awesome. You're joining us from Paris, by the way, which feels very
Yeah, yeah.
glamorous.
This
And
is
yeah,
Paris
yeah.
behind me. Yeah.
Well, thanks for telling us about your film. And up next we have Revolution Laundrette.